Hi, I'm Lee King with Louisiana Football TV magazine. We have a great lineup tonight. We've got a former Tulane football player that's from Texas and actually grew up in Iowa. We also have a former Texas A&M, the 12th man back in the day, and we've got their kids. These two gentlemen, they have sons that are currently at Fontainebleau High School on the North Shore. And we also have Alan Waddell, who's the host of several, let's just say Mr. Southeastern. He hosts a football show. He's been doing it for a long time. I've known him since he was in high school. We got our recruits of the week and much, much more. We'll be right back.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Honey, what's wrong with the disposer?
What disposer?
Clogged drain? Call Roto-Rooter, America's neighborhood drain expert.
Louisiana Office Solutions Company is the complete answer for all your office products and janitorial supply needs. From supplies for school or your home office, to styrofoam cups for your restaurant, to pallets of paper and cleaning supplies for your business. Choose from a large selection of furniture from chairs to desks for office or home, traditional and contemporary styles, or work with our design team to create a complete furniture layout for your building. So call or come by Louisiana Office Solutions Company on Florida at Waddell, where everyone is welcome.
Delta World Tire is 100% committed to making every part of your experience with us hassle-free and pleasant. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil change, or scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire's highest priority is serving you. If you're traveling this season, Delta World Tire is here to help you make sure your vehicle is road ready. If the tire needs replacing, the oil needs changing, or any other scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire wants to make sure you get there.
We're Delta World Tire.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen. Here's our football magazine. If you're watching in Shreveport or Lake Charles or around the state, our South edition's on the left, our North edition that we're proud of after 22 years. We started it 2 years ago. On the right, the picture was taken at Ruston High School. On the left, the picture was taken at Walker High School. We always rotate the schools every year. Randomly just flip a coin on about 30 schools, and we pick a school that will host it. And we got all the high schools in it and colleges. If you can't find this magazine in your hometown, your mom and dad seeing the show for the first time, go to our website. You can order it. Our guys today will leave with a copy. They're in the magazine, actually, and we're going to introduce one of the dads who has an interesting story, Steve Schuler, who played at Tulane, but started out, Steve grew up in Iowa and went to Clear Lake High School in the Houston area. Actually went to high school with Eric Valentino, who signed with LSU as a linebacker, and also a third person, Huffman.
Ryan Huffman. Played football and baseball.
At LSU. So you were telling me this story, Steve. We're going to have your son join us later in the show. We've got film. We've got Griffen Clements, and Brett is going to come on the show, who was the 12th man. His dad for A&M at one time at Douglas is your son. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have highlights on him, and he's going to come on later. But talk about when you were recruited. You told me an interesting story that LSU did offer you back in the day, and that back then you were, it's not like today. You were about 170, 6'4".
Yeah, I was about 175 pounds, 6'4". I was a long drip of water, and ended up going to college. I was kind of that sleeper recruit. I could play in pads. I looked great, and when you walk in, I wasn't very big, but I could run, and I had a lot of colleges look at me. I was kind of a late ACT guy, SAT guy, and so there's a lot of schools looking at me, but I went on a visit with some guys and was going to go, and all of a sudden it was like, you know, what do you want to do? And I ended up choosing Tulane coming out, and it fit what I needed to do, smaller classrooms.
And then your two buddies went to LSU.
They went to LSU.
And you played against them, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually played against Ryan and Eric. Ryan was offense, Eric was defense. And Eric, we were playing the last game we played. I think it was the last year Tulane played LSU, was in the rainstorm at LSU, and I got to play with him at the end of the game.
Now, you were a free agent with the New Orleans Saints. That was an interesting time and era.
Yeah,
it wasn't like today when the Saints, going to Super Bowls and
no, this was
Drew Brees and everything was great, and it was a little different back then. Wasn't it?
Yeah, this was Jim Moore's last year, so there was a lot of chaos going on, to put it lightly. But I loved football. I wanted to go to the next level, and I got to that level, and it was really business oriented, and my love wasn't in it anymore.
But you played in the Blue-Gray All-Star game in '93, which is no longer in existence. I love that game. It was always that morning game around the holidays and Christmas time, and everybody watched that game. And you grew into a big offensive lineman. You said 175, but what did you play at Tulane?
At Tulane, at one point, I was the smallest starting Division I offensive lineman, and I was about 265 pounds, 260 pounds.
The smallest.
Smallest, yeah. And I ended up continuing to gain weight, hit the weight room, and by the time I left, I was about 295. And then when I left the Saints, I was 332.
But you said you led Tulane in receiving the first part of the season.
As a true freshman, I came out and we did a scrimmage, and you were allowed to play the first couple games, and I caught 5 or 6 balls, all for about 10 yards apiece, 12 yards apiece. And that year, up until halfway through the season, I led in receiving. And then Steve Ballard, and if you know him, he came along and had a great year.
We've got some pictures of you when you were at Tulane and that you provided to us. We're going to get that picture up in a minute for Tulane. Your football photo. Look at him, man. That's when you were an offensive lineman and probably at 270 plus then. And
yeah, that was a blue-gray game photo.
And then the next one, we've got Steve protecting his quarterback here at Tulane. Kind of looks like Rice. Is that Rice you're playing?
Yeah, actually that game I blew my knee.
Oh, well, never mind. Let's hurry up.
It was my junior year. That was my junior year.
And then we got a photo of it's kind of way back, but here's the roster of Blue-Gray All-Star game in '93. I know we can't pick him out with that picture, but
yeah, there's guys on there. Drew Innocence in that picture. Stacy Shannon, who played for Alabama, who's in that picture.
Yeah.
Drew Innocent was my roommate at that game.
Anything stand out on your memory with the bowl game, Blue-Gray? Anything that sticks out? Guys you met from all over the country?
Yeah. There's a couple guys from Louisville and Wake Forest. Got to know them pretty well. We all went our separate ways, but that was a week long of intense practice, and then the game was kind of the highlight of it. And but it was the first time you really see the next level of football.
Steve, what is your current opinion of Tulane football right now? No, you have to be upset they lost to SMU this past week.
Yeah,
it's a tough loss. Again, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and I think
guys.
What's frustrating at Tulane has great athletes. They have a great history that people don't know about. The problem with Tulane is they're not getting that second, third team athlete in there to help back up like a lot of universities get. I don't know if it's because of the academic pressure. I don't know if it's the environment per se, unlike other universities. But the level of athletes are there, and they compete with anybody. You look at the NFL. Look how many guys are in the NFL that have played at Tulane and have been in the NFL. So they've got them. It's just that I think they're lacking depth.
My favorite Tulane player of all time was Lionel Washington, a DB that played 16 years in the NFL. Defensive back, later he's still a coach now, but he's from Lutcher High School, and they had some. Terrence Jones was a great quarterback. Sean King.
Yeah, I was a senior when he was a freshman.
Great player out of Florida. The Zeno brothers out of Lutcher. And hey, Matt Forte, Slidell High School, not a bad running back.
Oh, I know.
And the Saints, we're going to talk about them when we come back, but Steve, we're going to bring you back in the third segment. You're going to join your buddy Brett Clements. We're going to introduce him, the 12th man of Texas A&M at one time, and their sons will be on the show later. They're both O-linemen for Fontainebleau High School, and we've got Alan Waddell that'll join us later in the show. We'll be right back.
finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes. For decades, it's tormented the people of this town. They try to fill it, but it always returns. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you, too.
You ain't nothing.
Are you trash talking a pothole?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call or visit State Farm agent Bill Barkus in Baton Rouge today.
Delta World Tire is 100% committed to making every part of your experience with us hassle-free and pleasant. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil change, or scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire's highest priority is serving you. If you're traveling this season, Delta World Tire is here to help you make sure your vehicle is road ready. If the tire needs replacing, the oil needs changing, or any other scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire wants to make sure you get there.
We're Delta World Tire.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
The she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shear she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call or visit State Farm agent David Bryan in Walker today.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Welcome back. I want to thank Superior Grill. I mean, these guys know about Superior Grill in New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue, but we have a Superior Grill here on Government Street, and then they opened one up, guys, on Highland Road if you're ever by LSU. Great Mexican. They're also in Shreveport. They're in Birmingham, Alabama. Bob Kershoff, who played at Menden, played at Northwestern State as an offensive lineman. Been a supporter of ours for over 22 years. I want to thank them, support them. They support high school athletics. Superior Grill, great Mexican dining, great food. We're going to go ahead and introduce, we just talked to one lineman, former lineman from Tulane, whose son will be joining us, Douglas Schuler, later in the show. We have another one. These are two dads. We have two boys on the same team, and they're both O-linemen. And this O-line's pretty big at Fontainebleau High School. But Brett Clements, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Exciting.
Schuler did a good job.
Not bad for Steve. We're pretty proud of him.
Now, do you critique your background and his background? You were a linebacker at A&M.
I was. I tried to coach him up a little bit. You know, the linemen need a little help, so I give him
there you
2
go.
cents worth.
Brotherly love there, man. But, you know, people in Louisiana love LSU. They love Tulane. They love Tech. They love ULL. I mean, this show is seen all over Louisiana. But you went to A&M. You grew up in Texas. And you were the 12th man. That was a big deal. But people around Louisiana, they don't really know much about the 12th man. I do. I follow it.
Yeah.
But you told me something interesting before the show, how it was started.
You bet. Just, you know, I'm a West Texas kid. Grew up. My dad played baseball at A&M, so I didn't have a chance. I loved A&M since I was a child. Always wanted to go there. Set it as a goal to play for them. And then Cheryl came up with the idea of the 12th man. It really started back in, I think, the 1920s. They had a basketball player that played football, wasn't good enough to really suit out, and stood up in the stands to support his team. And the team got so hurt and were sidelined so much that actually halftime they pulled the kid out of the stands, had him suit up in uniform, get ready to play because they were shorthanded. He actually didn't play in the game, but ever since then, since I think 1921, E. King Gill stood up for his team, that the entire student body stands up for the 12th man. And Cheryl, when he came into A&M, you know, really saw, I think, the student body and the support that they gave the team, and decided to come up with the idea, let's have some walk-ons. Maybe we can put together a walk-on team because they're a pretty salty group, and have a kickoff team. And my freshman year, I first tried out. There were 300 trying out for 25 spots. 300. I got cut, and then there were 400 trying out for 25 spots before I made it. So yeah.
What are you thinking when it gets down to the final 20, 30?
We went through all spring training not knowing if we were going to make it or not. And it was, you know, first it was a great experience to be part of that program.
Yeah.
So if I hadn't have made it, been something I always wanted to try and be a part of. But you know, some of my fondest memories, you know, we would go out and work out an hour and a half on kickoff. Then we would be scout team, you know, for a bunch of All-Americans, and then when practice was over, go do kickoff again. And we took a lot of pride in our performance. For the first, I think, 10 years, we had some of the lowest return yardage on our kickoffs. You know.
Well, you played at A&M from '86 to '90, and what year did they name you the 12th man? What was the year?
I was '88.
'88.
Yeah.
And I remember those A&M teams. They beat LSU every year. It's kind of reversed lately.
It has definitely been reversed lately.
But there was a time, I remember going to College Station, where I would go there and I'd be there for LSU, and it's like, how bad are they going to lose?
Yeah.
A&M was rolling back.
They were.
Back
I remember the first home game that in '89, Harvey Williams was a quarterback for LSU. We came out of the stands, 80,000 people, and it was just electric. And it was one of the most fun games I've ever been a part of to see.
My favorite player that went to A&M was Leland McElroy and Rodney Thomas. West Orange Stark, Rodney Thomas, and Leland out of Beaumont, Texas.
Two great running backs.
And they were both committed to LSU at one time. What do you miss most about football, Brett? I know your son plays, and Griffen's going to be coming on later. But
you bet. Just the team aspect of it, just being a part of something bigger than yourself. And you know, the great thing to me about sports, and that we've got a daughter as well as our son that we always talked about, is you know, you get into something, what you put out of it, and just the discipline and work ethic, and to see you know Doug and Griffen, to see the work they've put in and see it pay off for them. It's just, Steve and I have just had a great season and a really great time in the stands watching these boys do what they do.
What I like is that your son and Doug, they're both over 6'2". They're both over 240, 250, and they're mobile kids. They're good players.
Right.
And there's so many players out there that are good, and they need to be scouted by colleges. And before we let you go, you're going to come back, and we're going to bring Steve back, and also Alan Waddell will be joining us next, and then we'll bring everybody together. But Mississippi State's going to take on your Aggies. What do you think?
I think we got them this year. It was one of the last ones on the Jimbo bandwagon. You know, like we may have spent too much money.
You were right. You weren't thinking Jimbo at first, right?
I really wasn't. I had stuck by Sumlin for a long time, and but to see the coaching and development that he's given his players, to see what he's done with Mond, our quarterback, and you know, to see I think the development we've done on defense as well. We're more well-rounded. We're taking the right steps, and I'm confident Aggies are going to step up a little bit. LSU might be awake here come the end of the year, because there might be a surprise coming.
Now, I don't know if this will happen or whatever happened, but just talking about an interesting position it would put you in.
Yeah.
What if LSU came after your son and said, "Hey, we want to give him an opportunity"? Would that be an interesting deal for you?
It would. It would.
Or Steve's son.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But Louisiana, y'all stayed in Louisiana.
We love it. We've been here 20 years, so yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
Look, we're going to take a break, and Brett, thanks for coming on. We're going to bring you back. Steve's going to join us. We're going to have Alan Waddell next. We're going to bring everybody back as a group, and we'll be right back.
Delta World Tire is 100% committed to making every part of your experience with us hassle-free and pleasant. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil change, or scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire's highest priority is serving you. If you're traveling this season, Delta World Tire is here to help you make sure your vehicle is road ready. If the tire needs replacing, the oil needs changing, or any other scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire wants to make sure you get there.
We're Delta World Tire.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too.
But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter.
That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com.
Louisiana Office Solutions Company is the complete answer for all your office products and janitorial supply needs. From supplies for school or your home office, to styrofoam cups for your restaurant, to pallets of paper and cleaning supplies for your business. Choose from a large selection of furniture, from chairs to desks for office or home, traditional and contemporary styles, or work with our design team to create a complete furniture layout for your building. So call or come by Louisiana Office Solutions Company on Florida at Waddell, where everyone is welcome.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes. For decades, it's tormented the people of this town. They try to fill it, but it always returns. Got me good.
But you know, State Farm's got you too.
You ain't nothing.
Are you trash talking a pothole?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call or visit State Farm agent Jim Crane in Baton Rouge today.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen, Louisiana Football TV magazine. Later in the show, we have two big-time linemen from Fontainebleau. We got the boys, we got the dads on early, and we got Alan Waddell that'll be coming on. We're going to talk a little Southeastern. We'll talk some football. My trip to Shreveport, and we got two recruits of the week. One recruit is from Tioga, a linebacker, DB, safety, Triquan Quinney, who's a big-time player. I think he is. He's not ranked high, but I think he's a big-time D1. And we have another player from North Lake Christian that we're going to be talking about, Jacob Harrington. I want to go ahead and show some pictures of the families, the Schuler family and Clements with the dad and the sons, but we're going to have those come up right now. And here's the boys together, guys. That's a good picture. I mean, these are some big kids that can play ball, and it's got to be interesting to guys for two boys, same position. When y'all hollering, it's the same position. Y'all got the ball, same time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Same frustrations or great plays or whatever, blocks. No holding penalties. There's the Schulers on the left, the dad, and on the right, Douglas. Great picture, man. You look like you can still play, man. That's some O-line.
I wish I could go back.
Then Britt's on the left here with his son, Griffen. And what game? Do y'all even remember what game this is after?
Ponchatoula.
Ponchatoula. How many points?
58.
It's amazing.
It was they were proud. It was a high school record for Fontainebleau.
How many holding calls?
0.
0.
That's good.
Yeah.
You always want to hear that.
Keep their hands inside.
We had a referee on last week talking about you could call a play on it. You could call a flag on every play.
Yep.
But I hate when there's a long, beautiful run and there's always a flag behind it, and it's not an obvious hold.
Right. It didn't change the play.
Right.
Why do you call that?
And I know y'all go through that a little bit because
We're
guys,
yeah,
right. I mean, you guys are playing O-line, and you're watching the trenches. I mean, that's what's going on every play. But let's talk about Fontainebleau and educate people outside of the North Shore, outside of Tangipahoa Parish. If you're in Shreveport or Lafayette and you're watching, or Lake Charles, there's some big-time programs that y'all go up against. St. Paul's, Ponchatoula. I mean, there's Covington. I mean, there's a lot of teams you might play non-district. You could play a Franklinton non-district, Salmon, Slidell.
Even Mandeville.
Mandeville's got a good team.
I mean, year after year, there's always a team in our district that goes deep. A lot of talent. I think every week we end up playing teams that have got D1 athletes. It's been a lot of talent. When you say
a lot of large schools.
Yeah.
And remember the Mandeville game 3 years ago in the playoffs that the kicker missed a 58-yarder by a yard?
Yeah.
And they would have went to the Dome.
Right.
That kicker's now in Alabama. But, that they were very close to going to the Dome 3 years ago. John Ehret went.
Yeah.
Lakeshore went last year, too.
Lakeshore went. I mean, that's a program that's been doing really well.
Yeah, powerhouse. Yeah.
Big time.
What do you think's is it just not getting the respect, guys? The North Shore, Steve?
I mean, I think a lot of it, you have the Catholic League. I'm
New Orleans.
a public school kid.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of get lost in the limelight of the Catholic League. But, I think North Shore's got great talent, and a lot of skill guys, a lot of big kids up there, too. So.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Matt Forte earlier at Slidell High. I remember a guy named Troy Twilley that went to LSU from Slidell. Alan Richter, quarterback, went to Salmon, played for the Buccaneers, LSU. Covington's had tons of players go.
Their running back just went to Utah.
Yeah, and I thought he was SEC good.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about recruiting.
Right.
He had, 9,000 career yards, and besides the stats, their quarterback was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Adam Perry went to Covington High School.
Yes.
He went to LSU and played.
Now his son is committed to LSU, who's 6'6", 320 from Turling's Catholic, Thomas Perry, which have to throw that out with the memory bank real quick. But the talent this year, and it's not like the teams are weak on the North Shore, except for maybe Ponchatoula's defense. St. Paul's is still St. Paul's. Slidell's best team maybe in 20 years.
Yep.
Y'all play these guys this week.
Got them this weekend, right?
Big game.
What do you think? Is that a home or away game?
It's home game.
Home game.
Homecoming.
Homecoming as well.
What kind of crowd are we expecting, Brett, at the game?
It'll be loaded. Everybody's excited, you know, hoping to catch them just right.
I'm going to tell you what, I've been to some Fontainebleau games, and their security there is impressive. It's like the Saints game or something.
When you have dads like us, you gotta.
There's like 14 security people with the headsets.
Yeah.
It's an impressive scene. I mean, you could have a press pass, and they're going to say, "Who are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
Where's our press pass?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, I went to Ponchatoula game 3 years ago when they had the Campbell brothers.
Yeah.
The big Donovan Campbell at LSU and the Christian Campbell start for Georgia Tech right now, DB. But Fontainebleau's got some good football players. Y'all got a young quarterback. Y'all got a good kicker.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's very underrated. Talk about the kicker.
I think he's probably the best kicker in probably all of New Orleans area. I mean, he'll punt the ball 40, 50 yards consistently.
Chris or Christopher?
Chris Mastio.
Yeah.
And
Strong
he's kicked,
leg.
I think he's kicked a 45-yarder, 40-something yarder. Yeah. And he had distance to go with it. I just don't think we utilize him enough sometimes.
And the O-line goes close to, what, 275 overall?
I bet
maybe 280.
295 when you factor in our guards.
Isaac Gray was like 340, 350.
Corcoran is 320. Yeah.
I got another kid coming up, a young kid at 6'5", that's going to be a good player on the line.
Right.
I mean, I'm just trying to educate the public that this is some talent.
Yeah.
This is not just a team that's just going through the motions, and it's a team to look for.
We've also got a running back that's, you know, top 2 or 3 right now in the metro area as far as Iverson Celestine.
Yeah, he's killing it right now, and he's only a junior right now.
Yeah, he's a junior. You know, Rudy Odom's a kid I helped a few years ago out of Fontainebleau.
Yeah.
I did a highlight tape on him, and Auburn bit. You know, they did it.
Yeah.
So they also had a couple other players go to Southern Miss from Fontainebleau back in the day. Some Ducrees. Christian Ducree was a great player.
Sure.
I can go on and on and on. We're going to take a break, and we'll bring these guys back. After Alan Waddell comes on, then we're going to bring them back on the set with Alan. We'll be right back.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Louisiana Office Solutions Company is the complete answer for all your office products and janitorial supply needs. From supplies for school or your home office, to styrofoam cups for your restaurant, to pallets of paper and cleaning supplies for your business. Choose from a large selection of furniture from chairs to desks for office or home, traditional and contemporary styles, or work with our design team to create a complete furniture layout for your building. So call or come by Louisiana Office Solutions Company on Florida at Waddell, where everyone is welcome.
Delta World Tire is 100% committed to making every part of your experience with us hassle-free and pleasant. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil change, or scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire's highest priority is serving you. If you're traveling this season, Delta World Tire is here to help you make sure your vehicle is road ready. If the tire needs replacing, the oil needs changing, or any other scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire wants to make sure you get there.
We're Delta World Tire.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Hi, I'm Lee Burkeen, Louisiana Football TV magazine. We're going to have our recruits of the week too, but later in the show, we've got our 2 big-time recruits in studio from Fontainebleau that you're going to get to meet these guys, Griffen and Douglas, 2 great linemen, underrated linemen from Fontainebleau on the North Shore. You know, that's what we're about. We're not just about the top 50 in the state. We're about getting the guys that should be maybe in the top 50 because we have so much talent in this state. People need to get to know the kids, and we like showing them off and promoting them. That's what it's about. Without waiting any longer, I want to introduce someone I've known for a long time, Alan Waddell. If you're not from the Hammond area or Ponchatoula area or New Orleans, you know, Alan's getting his name out there in New Orleans pretty heavily, doing WWL radio on Friday nights, and he does the coaches show at Southeastern. He's been doing that for a long time with football and other sports, but you know, Alan, talk about what you've seen so far this year with Southeastern, first of all.
Yeah, new regime. First of all, it's hard to believe. Right, it's hard to believe. I've been doing this 10 years. You know, this is my 3rd head football coach at Southeastern. Went from Mike Lucas. That's how I got started with it, and then went on to Ron Roberts, and now with Coach Frank Selfo, and it's just a little bit different. You know, every time you get a new face in there, a new coach, you know, the philosophy's different. And
saw Mike in Natchitoches at Northwestern 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Mike's the defensive coordinator at Northwestern State. Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator at UL Lafayette, right. and then obviously we have Coach Frank Selfo came over from UTSA as the offensive coordinator to Southeastern. And
used to be at Tulane.
Yeah, he was at Tulane. He's been a lot of different places. He's been in the NFL, been with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
UT San Antonio.
Yeah, he was there offensive coordinator at Arizona, at Louisiana Tech. So he's been a lot of different places.
From New Iberia.
Yeah. So I mean that's what I think the university was looking for. They wanted a Louisiana guy that would come in and really recruit the state hard.
Now there's pressure to win.
No, there is. You know that's one
Southland's become a tough conference.
That's one of my favorite things I think about being associated with it is being able to look at the Southland Conference as, you know, a lot of people obviously follow FBS football with LSU and Tulane and all that. But, you know, there's some really good football players at the FCS level. I mean, if you watched Monday Night Football, you saw Robert Alford from Southeastern, who's, you know, he picked 6 Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, went to Hammond High, went to Southeastern. There's been a lot of really good players that come through there. I know a guy that had a kickoff return a couple of weeks ago in the NFL. He was from Central Arkansas. So there's some good players at the FCS level. There's some really good teams.
When I started the magazine in '96 out of my apartment way back, that's when I got to know the Southland Conference because we promote all the colleges. Right. And so I'd go to Nichols, go to spring practice. I'd go to ULL, Tech, Tulane, Southeastern, Grambling, Northwestern, Southern. And you appreciate the talent they have. And look, if you're a teenager watching the show or a dad, don't think because you go sign with a 1AA school that you're just going to play right away. If you're not ready to go physically and mentally, you're going to wait a year at a 1AA because these guys, regardless of height, they're ready to go. They get the best guys under 6 foot tall or under 6'3" or under 6'5" on OD line. These guys can play.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, every year the conference put players in the NFL, getting guys invited to camp. I mean, Southeastern's been on an unbelievable run of putting people in NFL camp. I mentioned Robert Alford, Harlan Miller. He's from Kentwood High School. Went to was playing for the Arizona Cardinals. He's been in camp and certainly was on their.
They got a tight end currently that's going to be in the pros one day.
I think so. Branson Schwabel, I mean.
From Bowling Green. I mean,
no, he went from Oak Forest. Yeah, he only that's a
big
robbery there.
There you go.
But, yeah, Branson Schwabel, 6'5", 250 pounds that can run. And, I mean, I know when we played LSU earlier this year, he's one of those guys that was on the field that certainly looked like he belonged on that stage.
Right. Talk about some of the teams that you saw. I was in Shreveport this past week. I got to see Evangel Christian, Airline, Captain Shreve, Lola Prep, Green Oaks. Saw talent everywhere.
Yeah, you know, that's during football season. I'm certainly a very busy guy. You know, every Friday night I'm going somewhere, and on Saturday I'm chasing college football as well. So I get the chance to go to a different game every week. This past week I was at East Ascension and Catholic. I was at Mandeville and Slidell the week before that. So, I mean, I get a chance to go all over the place. I was at that Great Country Day Newman game earlier this year. Yeah. So I get a chance to go into all the different campuses, and I don't get a chance to see North Louisiana. That's one thing I was looking forward to talking to you about. I mean, I saw Catholic High that, you know, they won state the last two of the last 3 years.
I've seen all the teams you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I like all those guys, but you got any questions for me for North?
I mean,
I'll go South too.
What's Evangel looking like?
They're better. They're better. You know, Catholic High has owned them for 2 years.
Right.
But 3 years, I don't think it'll happen 3 years in a row.
Can Evangel win it all?
They can throw the ball now. The light went off on their quarterback, Blake Shapen. He's a junior. Allen, they can run it too. The little running back, Taji Sloan, is one of the best backs in the state. He's the Puka Williams that might start happening. 5'8", 205, power, and he runs mad. And their O-line, D-line, they're all back. I think they got a chip on their shoulder because they got 28 seniors and about 18 are going to sign. But they're playing like they're recruits now.
Well, everybody, you know, in the South wants to talk about D1. You talk about Catholic High and Baton Rouge. You talk about the Catholic League.
And Catholic High and Baton Rouge is good.
But always the wild card for me is, you know, North Louisiana because, you know, they get all the press down here in South Louisiana. But, you know, Evangel, I mean, Bird's having a great year. I know Evangel got after him on Thursday night.
I was there, yeah.
But they have a good team as well.
And Bird will go a long way until they have to play a really good defense.
Yeah.
You know, front seven. But they run the ball 90% of the time. They don't throw it much.
They're still an option team?
Still mostly option. They don't throw a lot. And I think that might get them sometimes. You know, when you play these South teams that have great defenses like Hanville, well, the old Hanvilles and Destrehan's and John Ehret.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the John Ehret game. What, they got 8 SEC guys on defense.
You know, I'm all over Ehret. I've been all over them all year. I think their defense is as good as anybody in the state. They're long, they're athletic. Their only loss of the year was up on the road at Western Road week 1.
And we got our guys here tonight, Fontainebleau, and they play Slidell.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you, I cut my teeth on the North Shore. When I got into doing radio and covering sports, I was doing it a lot in Tangier Parish and St. Tammany. And I really think you're starting to see the Katrina effect as you got a lot more people that are living on the North Shore, living in the Baton Rouge area. That's why football's really grown in those areas. And I think the North Shore plays outstanding football, and I think it goes very underrated. I'm anxious to see what happens with that Fontainebleau Slidell game. I saw Slidell 2 weeks ago. They have a good football team.
I'm interested to see how far Kentwood will go in a meet in the end, too, from that Tangipahoa area.
They should both hold the trophy, in my opinion.
Oak Grove might have something to say in some of those North Louisiana teams. And Lake Charles has some sleepers now, the Welshes of the world and all them. We'll be right back.
Honey, what's wrong with the disposer?
What disposer? Clogged drain? Call Roto-Rooter, America's neighborhood drain expert.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
The she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call or visit State Farm agent David Wilcox in Gonzales today.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com.
Delta World Tire is 100% committed to making every part of your experience with us hassle-free and pleasant. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil change, or scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire's highest priority is serving you. If you're traveling this season, Delta World Tire is here to help you make sure your vehicle is road ready. If the tire needs replacing, the oil needs changing, or any other scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire wants to make sure you get there.
We're Delta World Tire.
Welcome back. We're going to get to before we get to Alan Waddell again, we got our recruits in segment 6, but we're going to go ahead and introduce our recruits of the week that we do on the show. We don't always have recruits in-house, but we're glad to have these guys later on. They're going to end the show with me, but our recruit of the week is sponsored by the Ryder Clinic. Alan Kelly Ryder went to Penn State. He's from Abbeville, though. Cutting edge, one of the top doctors in Baton Rouge. If you have any sports injuries, give him a call. He's on Perkins Road. He has half the Dallas Cowboys team sees him. They fly in. Last week I was there. There was a quarterback from the Texas Longhorns seeing the guy. So go see. And it's sponsored by Kelly Ryder. But Tyron McQuinney from Tioga is one of our recruits of the week. I've seen this guy personally. He's a safety. He will hit you. He hits you old school. And kind of like what me and Doug were talking about, Douglas Schuler and also Brett Clements. Let's watch some film on him. But from free safety, he's always where he needs to be. He reminds me of Brandon Taylor, who went to Franklinton, played at LSU, was a safety. He's not the biggest guy. He's 5'10 and a half, 175. He'll probably play at 190. But he's instinctive. Look at him run up here and blitz. I mean, you know, some things you can't teach. And Alexandria is not known for a lot of defensive talent, but when they get good ones like Kenny Mixon, this is a guy, look, I mean, he intercepts the ball, in the end zone. He's always in position. Look at that hit. I mean, he is just a phenomenal football player. He's going to bring it. He reminds me of Donovan Wilson at A&M, who was overlooked out of Woodlawn in Shreveport. I told a lot of people about. He wasn't ranked. And what is he? Number 6 is leading A&M. He's the best hitter at Texas. I think Brett Clements probably will agree with me. He's a great hitter from Woodlawn and Shreveport. And we've got one more recruit, Jacob Harrington. He's an offensive guard, D-tackle from Northlake Christian. They don't dress a lot of kids, but they're very tough. They're a good program. They got a great coach. This kid's an offensive lineman, like the kids that are going to come on later in the show. But I think he can play defensive tackle, nose guard, the nose guard technique. This is him on defense. He plays basketball. He's 295, number 77. Big guy, and he plays forward on the basketball team. I think that's where he keeps his feet. Hey, Southeastern might end up, you never know. The guys tonight, they all might be teammates when this is over, but he's a very big guy. He's not an outside, chase the running backs out on angles out to the flats, but he's that perfect nose guard, that 3 blockers are going to have to block him to contain him, and we're going to go ahead and cut out, but that is Jacob Harrington from Northlake. We're trying to get everything in, and later in the show, like I said, the 6th segment, the best for last. Alan, 2 big-time linemen from Fontainebleau.
Yeah, one thing that the knock on Louisiana is that we don't produce enough linemen. And
That's
you
false.
have one right there.
That's
and then
false.
Exactly. I mean, you got a couple of guys here. I had a chance to visit with these guys in the studio. I mean, some big kids back here.
And recruiting's changing. I'm just going to be blunt. Been to 90 games this year. I've been to 40 practices, full practices and pads. Been doing this since '91. I've seen 3 college coaches at 90 games.
I'm somewhere every Friday night. I don't see a lot of college coaches. It's a lot of tape. It's a lot of a lot of these analysts. And Lee, I know we've talked about this before. I think this year is one of those special years for recruiting. I mean, we have some big time.
There's something to being at a game, taking it in, meeting the parents, watching it at the game, seeing the speed of the game. Film will show you stuff, but you got to see it in person, and it's good to be there. It's good to take it all in, and you can see the emotion, you can see the high effort. Film will show you size, it'll show you quickness, show you if you got height, speed, your hip movement, and all that stuff, but there's nothing like going to a game, taking it all in. Any other thoughts, Alan, on high school football?
I guess I was making the comment just a moment ago. I think this is one of those special years for recruiting in our state. I mean, I think we have some serious blue chippers, but I think the overall depth of this year's recruiting class in the state of Louisiana is maybe the best it's ever been, Lee. I mean, I go somewhere every Friday night, and I get to see some of the best teams in the state, and every week I say, who's that guy? Never heard of that guy, and he looks the part, and he'll be playing on Saturday.
I saw a junior linebacker at Captain Shreve. And in fairness to college coaches, they're not going to offer a lot of juniors until their season's over, until they watch film later on. I happened to go and watch it, week 7. But the kid's first name is Garin, and he's 6'3", 240. He runs a 4.5 and looks 4.5. He's a junior Mike linebacker. he looks like he can start for the Saints right now. He looks like a Romanowski. He's a junior at Captain Shreve.
My story about that is when I saw Devin White. He was a sophomore at North Webster.
As
They
a
were
running
playing
back.
A-Meet in the quarterfinals. The guy never came off the field. And I remember walking out of that game saying, this is the best guy
Right.
I've seen this year. And he was a sophomore. And then, you know, lo and behold, 2 years later, then a great time to bring him up with all the controversy around him and the targeting call and all that. But Devin White at North Webster was outstanding. He was a sophomore.
Since you opened it up,
yeah.
What do you think? You think
Targeting rules, listen, I understand the point of the rule.
Why can't you appeal it?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I understand the rule. They're trying to protect players. I get
Right,
it.
right.
But this is my argument about the whole deal. Is you're taking this is amateur athletes. You're taking games away from them. They don't get these games back.
Right.
I mean, so you know, you lose those games, and I mean, I think they ought to make it some type of, maybe like the NBA does with technical fouls, where you get so many and then there's an ejection.
Right.
But I don't like it on one, and certainly the one that's on Saturday was, I mean, he hit him with his hands. I mean, I don't agree with the call.
Look, I have seen some Alabama, and I'm not pulling for Alabama to win the SEC. Obviously, I grew up in Baton Rouge. What do you expect? You know, I grew up in Baton Rouge, but I do see these guys get away with a lot of hits. The Tennessee game, I watched that, and also, I guess it's with the LSU fans. They look back to even Patrick Peterson. He intercepts a pass with 2 minutes left. It wins the game. He has a foot in. He's out.
Yeah.
You know, turned out Bama gets the ball. They score. They beat them. But it's been an ongoing, I don't know, bad luck or just not really good for LSU.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the Alabama's got the benefit of some calls. The call,
But how about the Tulane SMU game last year?
Yeah, I mean, no, look, there's bad calls every week. in
1
college
yard
football.
line.
I mean, we had a game this year earlier, talking about Southeastern earlier this year against Lamar, where the referees, they missed a down. We lost a down.
A down?
Yeah, they went from first, second to fourth down. So I mean, it happens.
Hey, we're going to bring our recruits on. Alan, thank you for being
no
here.
problem.
I'll see you in 2 weeks. Maybe week 10 WWL, maybe.
Yeah,
We
gonna try
might
to put
do a
together.
game. We got our 2 big-time recruits coming up. You're going to get to meet them from Fontainebleau. We'll be right back.
Delta World Tire is 100% committed to making every part of your experience with us hassle-free and pleasant. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil change, or scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire's highest priority is serving you. If you're traveling this season, Delta World Tire is here to help you make sure your vehicle is road ready. If the tire needs replacing, the oil needs changing, or any other scheduled maintenance, Delta World Tire wants to make sure you get there.
We're Delta World Tire.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Honey, what's wrong with the disposer?
What disposer?
Clogged drain? Call Roto-Rooter, America's neighborhood drain expert.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes. For decades, it's tormented the people of this town. They try to fill it, but it always returns. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you too.
You ain't nothing.
Are you trash talking a pothole?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call or visit State Farm agent Bill Barkus in Baton Rouge today.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com.
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new window.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen, Louisiana Football TV magazine. I have two outstanding young men that play on the same offensive line at the same high school. They're both seniors at Fontainebleau High School, which is in the Covington-Mandeville area on the North Shore. It's a great school. It's like a college. I mean, it's a great school. I've been there a few times over the years for games. To my left is Griffen Clements. You met his dad, Brett, early. Griffen, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me out here.
To your left is Douglas Schuler. Your dad was out here earlier, Steve.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
You know, it's a coach's dream to have two senior big offensive linemen that are not only big and athletic, but smart. And then you got your other three guys. We don't want to leave them out because if they see a replay of the show, we don't want them to be angry. But Isaac Gray, and then talk about the other two O-linemen. Start with you, Griffin.
Gray would be Christian Corcoran is our left guard inside of me, and he's definitely a big guy, big hardy guy. Love blocking with him, and we've got
Isaac's smart. He knows he can feel the line. He knows where to go. He can always get there when he needs to. He's an overall really good player.
And he's 340 maybe?
He's a big guy. He's like 340, like 350, something like that.
6'3", 6'2.5".
He's massive, yes,
yeah.
sir.
And Corcoran's a big guy, and then there's one more. Who's the other offensive lineman?
It's Braden Goudreau's our starter right now.
Good deep snapper too,
yes,
right?
Sir, deep snapper too, and he is definitely, you know, he's a smart player, capable of getting up to backer, and we also have David LeBlanc who rotates in with us too, and he's
not, you know, and everybody's over 265.
Oh
right?
yes, sir. We're I mean, what did you say the average was for us? We're pretty heavy, right?
Yeah, we're like 295 average.
It's
295.
Yes,
average.
sir. It's
probably
up there.
6'2" up height, right?
Yeah.
Just about, yes, sir.
You know, this is a big O line, and y'all got a good young quarterback, and y'all got a big game this week. And Slidell, they've been doing well. Y'all beat Ponchatoula recently, put up over 50 points.
Yes, sir.
What's it like as an O lineman to get a 50-point game?
It was. I mean, it's incredible. Definitely. I started starting my sophomore year, and I've never had a game with that many points. It's something else. What are you doing?
And Douglas, you're blocking, you and Griffin are blocking for a great running back. I said a junior earlier, sophomore, Celestine. He's a big-time running back.
Yeah, I mean, he hits a hole hard. I mean, when he sees that hole, I mean, he hits it as hard as he can, and he almost always gets through.
He's over 200 pounds already.
Yeah.
Be a big-time recruit before he's done. And y'all got a pretty good defense. You know, Fontainebleau's always got a stingy defense. Maybe not a lot of D1 guys, but always a lot of seniors and a lot of experience on defense.
Yes, sir. Especially, I definitely am proud of our linebackers. We've got Grant Saison, who's a junior, but shows enough leadership to be voted as captain, and he is just he is a fireball. He bounces around and hits as hard as the rest of them.
Well, I got to ask y'all this. I mean, we got two guys. They're whiz kids too. You know, Douglas has a 26 ACT. That's a pretty good test.
Yeah.
And then Griffin, you have a 34.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you said SMU is offered?
SMU's offered me a preferred walk-on, yes,
What do you
sir.
think of that?
I am incredibly appreciative. I think it's absolutely amazing.
What if Texas A&M offers you a preferred? Your dad went there.
And that might be my dream. So I mean, I grew up with my dad going to A&M. You know, I've gone to games and stuff. It would be incredible.
And I'm gonna put the heat on Tulane. Douglas, what if Tulane came around with it's over, maybe?
Yeah, it's over. It's a dream come true if they offered me.
Your dad was an offensive lineman there and played in a blue-gray all-star game, and the legacy that you would be a legacy recruit, both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What was it like seeing your dad? We're going to get to what was it like seeing your dad come out here and talk about his old days here?
It was. I mean, I always loved hearing about it. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved to get a glimpse of what it was like for him playing college ball.
And Douglas, your dad with Tulane and played for the Saints.
Yeah, it was kind of weird seeing him out here because he never really does stuff like this.
And tell everybody the sizes. You know, especially when you're on the internet, they get height and weight wrong. But tell everybody about your size today, height and weight.
I'm 6'3", about 265, 270 right now.
Pretty lean in Douglas?
I'm 6'4", 260, almost 255, almost around there.
Here's some highlights, guys. And look, you're both on the O-line.
Yeah.
So just look in red and look on the O-line with these two guys. They're circled, and they're moving people, man. That's a great job, guys. And, I mean, this is another game. This looks like Denham Springs.
Yes, so that would be Denham.
And that looks like, is that Franklinton?
That might be Bogalusa,
Bogalusa.
actually. Yes, sir.
I mean, y'all play some big D lines.
Yes, sir.
What is your strengths, guys? Is it being able to pull? Is it run blocking, pass blocking? I know because everybody's different, but what is your strengths?
I think my strength certainly is probably just I mean, if it's run blocking, pass blocking, I mean, I try to have some tenacity, play deep into plays, and really just go as far as I can.
And looking at the film, Douglas, I mean, y'all do a great job of pass protection too. I know Iverson might owe y'all pizza every now and then, right, for some of those long runs. But as a big group, I mean, it looks like straight ahead, just mauling people is a given.
Yeah.
You know, all that other stuff comes in college, the pulling and everything else. But, you know, look, this is a play right here where y'all are just taking down the whole D line. And I wish I could go back and run through that hole. That's a big, that's like 3 car lengths wide. But, guys, good luck to you. We're running out of time. I'm glad that y'all could come today and be on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for having us.
Thanks for having
everybody gets to know who you are in the state of Louisiana now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Maybe.
And look, wherever you go, good luck to you, whatever college it may be. And if it's LSU in the end too, you know, or whoever, or Tulane, A&M, or SMU, or Rice, or any of these great colleges, you're watching Louisiana Football TV magazine. Thanks for all the guests, Alan Waddell, Brett Clements, Steve Schuler, our recruits of the week. We'll see you all week long in the state of Louisiana. You're watching Louisiana Football TV magazine.